At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts this week, Wrestling Chris G, and on the other line with me is my big beak brother. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
You don't know me.
Yeah, I know you too well.
You don't. Keep my beak out your mouth.
It don't work if you don't smack me first, bro.
Haven't quite figured that out.
So how you doing, man? We took a week off due to my daughter almost giving me a concussion, but we're back.
Oh, that was so funny.
I know.
That was so funny.
I
was sitting here. I was ready.
Oh, I was ready too until I got clunked in the head by a Barbie doll. and the cut that was made from Zed Barbie doll did not want to stop bleeding. And people were like, why is your daughter hitting you in the head? Because I wouldn't play dollhouse with her.
I'm telling you, man, they make soft dolls.
They do, but she don't like the soft dolls for some reason. But maybe it's for that damn reason right there.
She knows you can't smack anybody good with those.
She's like, well, I ain't playing with this. What is this gonna do for me? If I got her a soft doll, she would probably go to my son's toy chest and find one of his Avengers and fucking come over to me and just be like, play with me. Whack.
Though I did have a moment of like instant regret considering what I got off of her wish list for her birthday. I was like, uh-oh, I'm an enabler.
Oh shit, what did you get?
Well, she had like 3 dolls on her wish list, so I just picked one.
Oh shit. Was it a hard one?
It was kind of heavy.
Oh shit. I'm gonna look at you and you're gonna look at me and just turn your head and be like,
shoes untied. Look at that.
Look at that. My shoes untied. That butterfly is flying really high.
You look at me and you go, you don't wear laces in your shoes. Shut up.
I hide them. It takes me 3 business days to get them out.
I tie them one time and just hope.
So, but yeah, we took a week off due to me not wanting to get blood on my headset because it just kept falling. Wait until you see this. I don't even know if you're gonna even be able to see it. It's on the top of my damn head. Like she got me good, like right in the middle. Like I have a nice, like I'm at some point when I cut my hair, I'm gonna have to like cut part of that piece because the blood kind of dyed it red and I could not get it undyed for nothing.
Oh, damn.
I'm telling you, it was bleeding through, bro. Yeah, it was. As they say in the wrestling business, I got cut open the hard way.
Yeah, you didn't catch no blade job.
Hell no! If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it the right way.
They'll use blood packs in this house.
For real. So, but how are you doing over there? Before we get into this week's episode, how are you doing on your end with this nice Illinois weather that we're having for a day?
Yeah, you just kind of got to learn to live with it. You got to learn to check your apps before you start getting ready in the afternoon. Um, got to be willing to have your windows open for a grand total of maybe half an hour. You know, like it honestly wouldn't be half bad if the wind didn't decide to pick up today and like
Want to
pictures are
blow
getting
you over?
flipped over. Yeah. Well, no, I'm fine, but like if I'm sitting there just chilling, playing some games, all of a sudden a gust of wind comes by, and everything on my dresser damn near gets knocked over.
Oh shit. Yeah, we had the windows open here at our house too, and everything was getting blown over. And took my daughter out on the freaking trampoline, and she had a ball. But let me tell you something, bro. Freaking, well, it had to have been. This was Saturday night, right? Saturday night going into Sunday, so we didn't see it until Sunday. But my neighbor, 2 houses down from us, got fucking TP'd. Like they pissed somebody off, and their whole fucking house was fucking covered in toilet paper. And when I tell you that wind blew all that shit to over to me and my other neighbor's house, I was pissed looking at my girls. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right?
So excuse my language, everybody. I normally don't cuss that bad on the show, but I was mad. Especially when the grass is too wet to cut. So it's not even like I could go over it with a low blade on my lawnmower because it's been raining here so much to where it's impossible to mow my grass right now.
Right.
And it's just I had to go out there, and why am I having to clean up for someone else pissing somebody off? I don't know who the hell I pissed off, but I should have had to be out there cleaning no damn toilet paper off of my yard.
Did you talk to your neighbor? Did he have like a clue? He's like, "Oh, this was X, Y, and Z down the street."
My wife said that they had an idea as to who did it because I guess they posted on Facebook and their friends on Facebook and all this type of stuff, and just went on a little tiny rant as to who possibly did it. But boy, I'm glad they don't listen to this show because I was pissed. Toilet paper on my car, under my car, in my yard, in my neighbor's yard. I'm just lucky it didn't blow up and blow into the backyard into the covered pool where there's water sitting on top of the tarp because that would have been a messy thing to freaking clean up.
Well, it also could have been eggs on the house.
Oh, that reminds me. They had eggs too.
Oh, of
But
course
but
they
but
did.
but of course the eggs did not fly anywhere. But yeah, they got egged before they got TP'd.
Damn.
Yeah. Which
Damn.
which in my eyes, how hard do you have to sleep to where you just that you don't hear, and I'm gonna hit my mic a little bit, that you don't hear this at your window, like whack, 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 whack. And then they had enough time to throw like 20 things of toilet paper and speed off before you notice shit.
Yeah, that's kind of that's a bit curious because you know we've got a thing on our front, the front of our house that kind of just hangs, and it's a hunk of wood, for decoration. And on some windy nights, boy, all of a sudden you're just laying there, and all of a sudden it just go whack, 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 and I was like, look, we're taking that down.
I can't sleep with that.
I was like, I mean, you know, I'm all good with white noise, but I don't want no sound like somebody's trying to come in here. I was like, we're taking that down.
Yeah, and I'm sure that wasn't even a real windy day. Like we get some windy days out here in the Windy City, and it's just fucking when it gets windy, it gets windy. And I'm
Yeah.
sure if it would have been a real heavy day, that shit would have been extra loud inside of your house, right?
Well, and I mean, I guess, and on the other side of the coin, it could have gotten so bad fell off, which would have stopped it. But
Yeah, it would have stopped it, but then it would have been hitting the house in a little circle tornado on the outside of your house.
yeah, we don't be needing that.
So, but all right. Outside of our 10-minute story, our story time, today's episode is Dancing with the Ducklett Trio. The next episode on the Black and White series. Man, it feels like it's been like a month or two since we've done a Black and White episode, bro.
I think it, I mean, it might equal out to roughly that because we wanted to finish off the Kanto because we were so close to that.
Yes.
And then we did the Arceus quartet, and then we did the
Pokemon Origins.
The Origins. So it's probably been almost a month. I mean, in real time.
Yeah, in real time. Yes. And I'm sorry with how funky our feed has been lately. I hope that you have been enjoying some of the stuff that we've been putting out. And you want to know something funny, bro?
What's up?
One of our Patreon subscribers was listening to our Pokemon Origins episode and told me on the Patreon that Pokemon Origins with the subtitles, with the English subtitles, is sitting right on YouTube.
Ah, poop.
The most simplest place to have the stuff. I mean, I ended up noticing that after we were done recording, and I was like, well, shit. Okay, well, I mean, we're all done now, so it doesn't really help us, but damn.
I didn't really have, too much of an issue with Origins.
No, neither did I. It was just a few of the city names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, some of the Pokemon.
Yeah. But today's episode premiered February 24th, 2011, and that was in Japan, and here in the States premiered June 18th, 2011, and there goes my freaking power flickering. It better not go out. They're doing some work down the road, so if there's a brief pause or if I have to stop the recorder for a second, that's the reason why, everybody. But
9:30 at night?
Well, they've been doing stuff. I don't know where where they're like digging or doing stuff at, but we got a notice from ComEd that they're going to be doing some underground work, and not just us, but all of the neighbors that's around here. The lights have been flickering all day, and it's freaking irritating. You have the light on, and then out of nowhere it just flickers, just flick, 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 flick. I'm like, stop it.
And when you come back, the woman from the ring is standing right in front of you, and you're like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, I'll walk up to her and just be like, I didn't summon you, but I mean, you're welcome to stay here if you want. I mean, excuse my wife if she tries to get rid of you, but I mean, I'm cool with you and shit. So just don't bother me in my sleep, and we're all good.
Maybe put these slippers on because your feet kind of look dirty.
Yeah, just a little bit. We just installed new carpets. Just right. Be respectful. Turning into an episode of Scary Movie.
Right.
But yeah, this episode premiered in the U.S. June 18th, 2011, 2 days before my birthday. All right. I'll take that.
What'd you do for your birthday in 2011?
2011? I'd have to think. Oh, stuff I can't talk about on the podcast.
Was that your 21st?
Yeah, that was my 21st birthday.
Shit.
Yeah, we can't talk about that on the podcast.
Matter of fact, this whole segment might not even make the final edit.
Oh, yeah, let's get off of this subject before one of us gets in trouble. All right. Okay, so that being said, bro, are you ready for another episode?
I am, and it seems like I better be ready because this episode sure is ready.
Yeah, this episode's ready on my end too. And all right, well, we start this week's episode with Scraggy versus Axu, a training battle between Iris and Ash. And we get a close up of Scraggy's face, and we get a close up of Axu's face, and and freaking Ash goes, he's like, Scraggy, headbutt, and Iris is like, quick, Axu, scratch, let's go, and they both go in, and the animation is just funny because it makes it seem like they're like just beating at each other. And then we pull the camera back, and they're literally taking baby steps towards each other. And freaking Scraggy goes in, and he wheels his head back and just headbutt. Axel's like, ow, that hurt. And freaking does a scratch attack, which doesn't hit Scraggy, but scares Scraggy to where he drops his skin. So his skin drops out of his hands, and he's embarrassed. So he pulls it back up, and actually just sits there and laughs. And Ash is just like, heh, heh. Yeah, this is some battle, isn't it? Ash looks right over at Scraggy and was like, use Leer, Scraggy. And freaking Scraggy, he looks over, he does his Leer attack, and Axu is just looking at him like, ah. And Ash is like, it worked? And then he looks at Pikachu, he's like, right? And Pikachu's like, I guess. Doug, you want to take it from here?
So Iris takes that opportunity to jump this thing up like 10 notches, and she's like, well, I mean, he only knows one other move, so he might as well use it. She calls out for Dragon Rage, and everybody's like, oh my god. And we see the attack building in Axu, and Simon quick jumps to put a cloche on some food he's got laying out, and actually lets the Dragon Rage go, and everybody's just engulfed in this blue light. And I don't know if it looks like it's about to like leave a hole, and I don't know if like Axu hiccups or coughs or something, but
he sneezes.
Sneezes.
It tickles his belly and he sneezes.
So he like swallows the Dragon Rage, but the Dragon Rage still has to come out somewhere. So all of a sudden, you just see like this black puff of smoke, and once the smoke clears, Axu's left. He's a little scuffed up, and he's looking around, and Scraggy's on his back. He's looking up like, what in the world just happened? And pardon me. Iris comes over and picks up Axu, and she's like, well, that didn't work, did it?
Axu has no idea what just happened. He's like, I just sneezed. Just so
you can't tell me I'm the only Pokemon's ever sneezed before.
Iris then picks up Axu and was like, well, we tried. And then we go over to the narrator, who says that they're still on their way to Castelia City, and this was a nice little spot to take a break. And you can literally tell that they're right next to a city as the screen kind of pans back, and freaking this kind of bugged me a little bit. Like, they're so close to the city, but they're in the woods. Like, they're in. It literally looks like from this picture that they're in somebody's backyard.
Yeah, but I could see, Ash especially is like, look, we've got a bit of a clearing. I'm probably gonna want to go right to the gym when we get to the town. I'm still trying to train Scraggy. Iris is still trying to train Axu. like you said, we're basically here. So why don't we take a minute and, train and have some lunch? And I mean, we weren't planning on almost blowing ourselves up, but,
yeah.
people got to sneeze,
So, but it's at this point that we see poking out from the grass a duckling. And he looks like he's up to no good. And boy, is he not.
Just got
So,
red eye.
and then we
Straight
got Oshawott fly out of its Pokeball because he's ready to go and eat. And Ashton is like, oh, it's time to bring out the rest of the Pokemon too. And as he brings out his other 3 Pokeballs, Ash falls into the ground, which he didn't even take a step. So how did this ground not cave in when he was like jumping, calling attacks and shit? But he falls.
Or when Dragon Rage exploded, for goodness sakes.
For real. Maybe that's what it was. They freaking Duckling's like, why isn't our trap? He was in a Team Rocket position for a second. He's like why isn't my trap working? Freaking Dragon Rage happens and boom, he takes one step and falls in. But he falls into this hole, but it's not an ordinary hole. This hole is really deep, and you just literally see him just sliding and sliding and sliding and sliding and sliding. And Silent even makes a note of it. He's like, "Oh, that's quite a deep hole."
I mean, it's damn near a tunnel. I mean, for goodness sake.
Yeah, but what's scarier is it filled itself in, and it's at this point that Silent and Iris are like, "Okay, well, we need to dig him out." So Silent sends out Pansage, and bro, tell our audience who does Iris send out, bro?
Oh, you were going to ask me that. Yeah, Excadrill. And if you've been following along with our black and white coverage, you've seen him another time.
Yeah, you've seen him so far. Yeah, you've seen him twice before. We've covered him twice, and he's done jack shit.
And we got this whole backstory first time, and that was the whole, basically the crux of that first episode we saw him. Was like why like Iris doesn't trust him and whatever. But obviously the plot called for Espadrille here, and Iris is like, well, it's times like this where it has to listen, kind of the Ash Ketchum versus Charizard debate.
And still doesn't.
Well, and to be fair to Charizard, at least Charizard is a little bit agreeable, at least when there's other Pokemon at stake.
Yeah. He'll help if he actually 100% needs to. Like, he's not going to abandon Ash, but he's just not going to listen to him. He's like, boy, I'm not going to listen to you. But I'll do my own thing, but I'm not going to listen to you.
Ain't going to get anybody hurt on my watch, but ain't going to break a sweat here.
Yeah, for real. So, and then we go into the the theme song and the title sequence, and then from there we come out of it, and Ash is still falling down the hole. You want to cover this part, bro?
So he's falling. We see, we then have a wide shot of the side of a mountain, basically, or a big ass hill, whatever you want to call it, a cliff, and you see a puff of smoke, and we see a Sandile, the Sandile, and we pretty much know it's the Sandile because of the sunglasses.
The Squirtle of the bunch.
And Sandile jumps out, and immediately followed by Ash and Pikachu taking a tumble, and Ash is, Pikachu, are you okay? Pikachu's ear is on the other side of its head, but it's fine. And Pikachu's like, I'm all right. That was a hell of a trip. I mean, I don't recommend it. And and Ash, and then the Sandile comes up and he's like talking mess, and Ash is like, "I've
I know
seen that
you.
Sandile,"
I know you. Are you following me?
and we get we get a flashback from the resort where Sandile stole Oshawott and Pikachu, and
To save them.
Ash, right, but he didn't go. Pardon me. He didn't go into that in the flashback, but right, it ended up being because he was concerned for the Pokemon safety. But obviously, at that point, we're like, oh, we just got a Pokemon cat burglar. So Ash immediately puts two and two together and gets four, and looks up at the hole and goes, ah, so you were the digging mastermind. And and he's like, why though? And Sandile just all of a sudden starts like digging its heels in, it wants to go, and it's looking right at Pikachu. And Ash is like, "Oh, so you want to fight? Lucky for you, I've just been training with Scraggy and um, Axew, and you know, Sandile's just like, okay, come on, motherfucker, let's jump if you feel froggy." And
And Ash is like, all right, well, let's have a battle. And then, and from there, we go back up to where Ash is, or I mean, not Ash, but where Iris is. And Iris is like, Excadrill, come out. So we haven't skipped a second from what was happening
no,
above ground. So Excadrill comes out of its Pokeball, and it's in its um what what should we call this stance? Like
I
he's
would almost, I would almost call it its shell stance.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
'cause it's not,
we could say shell stance. I
because
think
it's
that's
not active.
so. Yeah, it's covering its whole body. So he and Iris is like, go after Ash and Pikachu, and freaking Escadrille is just, I ain't listening to you. Like it's bad because Excadrill and she just gets so embarrassed, and this would have been the perfect time for Silent to just be like, "Oh, Excadrill's still not listening to you. Oh, what a kid."
Yeah, but see, that's not Silent's bit. That's Ash's bit.
I know, and he needs to say it, but he's not saying it. But it is
Ash
what
would
it is.
have been all over it. Yeah.
But but yeah, she calls Excadrill back into its Pokeball. So Excadrill goes back in. Silent looks over, and Silent's like, all right, Pansage, are you ready to help? And Pansage is like, yeah. And at this point, we see a headshot of a duckling, and it's taking freaking Silence shiny. Would you say the top to his? What is that called?
It's a cloche that he covered the food with right before the Dragon Rage.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So he's wearing it as a hat, and Duckling looks right over and just waves aside and is like, I'm gonna take this. All right, bye. And then just walks away. Silent's like, thief, come back here. And and then he goes and uses what looks like a water gun, but it looks like it's hot because at this point, Iris is like, "Oh my god, that's hot," and blocks the water gun attack over to
Oh,
Oshawott.
you know what happened?
What?
Ducklett aimed the attack specifically to bounce off of Oshawott's shell. So the attack went straight into Oshawott's face, and that's why Oshawott was burning up. That's why Oshawott shakes off the attack and just throws down his shell like, you've caused me nothing but trouble.
And when he throws the shell down, he has nothing to deflect it back into Iris's face, so he's catching the full scolding of the hot water to the face, and Oshawott just gets pissed, walks out of the way, and he throws his shell down. He's like, shit, fuck, that hurt. Ow. And freaking Axu is like, me next, me next. Just running. And I was like, hey, wait a second, get back here. And Silent's like, all right, we'll take care of all that and then we'll go look for Ash. Let's go. Yeah, because a top to your food is more important than freaking going and helping out your brother who just fell down into a hole that got caved in on.
Hey man, that shit's expensive.
I don't give a fuck.
Especially if it's top end equipment, which it probably is.
I don't care at all. Like, that's just no. I'd be mad. Well, obviously, Ash isn't going to find out, but I'd be mad if I found out, like, later on, it just came out in the conversation. Remember when that duckling took your thing and then we ran after it right before going to get Ash, and Ash just sitting there like, wait a minute, you went after your pan instead of coming to help me, dick. But he was fine, so I don't. Maybe Ash would have taken too much to it. But we go straight from that and we're back on the underground portion where Pikachu is getting ready to battle Sandile, and then we see another duckling head like bring its head above the grass as well. You want to take over this part, bro?
Yeah, did not catch on first viewing, or I shouldn't say not first viewing, did not catch straight away that these were different Ducklets. And my first thought was, damn, this thing moves quick. And I was like, oh, that's probably a different one. So, yeah, the Ducklet's got a front row seat. And Ash is like, well, I'll take the first attack. And he calls for Pikachu to use Thunderbolt. And Pikachu loads up. And Sandile just takes it. And
because it's a ground
Ash
type.
is like, ah, shit. Ground type. I should have known that. And she's like, well, electric moves clearly won't work. And then he's like, he's going in for bite. Use Iron Tail. And Pikachu uses Iron Tail to deflect the bite, and they land and they stand there. And all of a sudden, just Ducklet just wanders out, just whop, 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 and just turns up whack. And Ash is like, what in the world's going on with this place? Obviously, the first time we've seen Ducklet, so he pulls out Dexter. And we find out that Ducklet is a water bird, which I was kind of, that's a little on the nose, isn't it? And it's a talented diver, and it swims around underwater in order to eat its favorite food, peat moss.
Peat moss, yes. And and Pikachu's like, well, we're kind of in the middle of a battle. And Sandile just walks up and just pushes Duckling aside. He's like, all right, get out of here.
Go on, shoo.
And Duckling is like, what are you doing? And freaking Sandile, I don't get why Sandile did this unless he was planning on eating this duck, which seems kind of dark for this anime, but freaking Sandile walks over and just opens his mouth and it's just like, ah. And Duckling takes its head and just sticks it right inside of Sandile's mouth, and Sandile is like, ah, no, get out of my mouth. Ah. Like, why did you open your mouth like that, dummy?
And yeah, so Sandile's kind of like talking mess, like, what are you doing? What kind of, what kind of stuff is this? He's reading Ducklet the Riot Act, and Ducklet just reaches over and tickles one of his nostrils.
Just like a dick.
And Sandile sneezes so hard that the sunglasses fly off of his face and land perfectly on Ducklet's face. Although from the angle that I'm paused at, it looks like one of the bits that goes over your ears. It's another discussion because none of these Pokemon have ears. Like, this duck straight up doesn't have ears. So, but it looks like one of those bits is like straight up in Ducklett's eye, which looks hella painful, but obviously it's a kid show, so that's not how it's happening. And Ducklett just looks at the camera like, all right, cool shades. And Sandile's like immediately like starts to kind of tear up. He's like, I kind of need those back. They're kind of my identity, my whole personality. And Ducklett's like, well, I think I can live with this. And he's like, what? And Sandile's like egging him. He's got like tears in his eyes.
He's like, give it back.
And
freaking Duckley's a dick again.
because he stops and he takes the sunglasses off, and you think, oh, he's got some mercy. And Sandile's like, oh, thank goodness. And he just water guns straight to the face.
Yeah, and it seems like it was that scalding water again, too. And just Sandile just gets kicked back because he's a ground type. He's weak against water, and it fucking knocks him out. And Ash is like, what is up with that Ducklett? Like, he's just so confused, and Pikachu's so angry, and Sandile's just knocked out. And so we go straight from that, and Sandile is now alive again. And he's walking. So it's later in the day. And Ash is like, I wonder where that Ducklett went. That Ducklett's wacky. And Sandile is just so depressed because his sunglasses are gone. And Ash guarantees that he's going to get those sunglasses back. I promise, and you can count on me. And then it's at this point when they're walking, there's a whole bunch of Wombat that fly into the scene, and they scare the mess out of Sandile. Like this Sandile seems like he's not scared of nothing. And Ash, he jumps onto Ash's shoulders. He's like, "Oh my God, save me, save me, save me!" And Ash is like, "Come on, Sandile. They're just a bunch of wild Wombat. They're not gonna do anything." And freaking Sandile's like, "Okay." And then we get another glance of another Ducklett. Yeah, Ducklett. And I've been calling him Duckling, haven't I? I have.
You have, but it was close enough where I didn't feel like stopping you every time. I was like, he knows what he's saying.
Yeah. We get another Ducklett in the frame, and this Ducklett is in a tree. So, and I want to pause here real quick, okay? And I don't know if I have ever seen one in a tree, but have you ever seen a duck? I know ducks fly, and they can fly. Have you ever seen a duck in a tree?
In a tree, no. Absolutely not. Not even close.
Yeah, exactly. Like ducks just don't fly into a tree. But for some reason, this duck was sitting on a branch in a tree, just like a regular old bird. Like I've never seen a duck in a tree. Like this actually made me sit back for a second and was like, growing up until today. So I'm this many years old. Have I ever once, like I've been chased by a goose before, and I think I've told that story. What?
Geese are sons of bitches.
Dude, they are mean as hell. I mean, I deserve to get chased, but that thing wanted to tear off more than what I threw a fucking acorn. The acorn bonked it, and yeah, I was young and stupid and shouldn't have done that. But this thing wanted to eat me, and it chased me into a nearby building and stayed outside that MFer, walking back and forth for like 5 minutes. Like I'm gonna wait here, and when he comes out, I'm gonna eat him.
You were Ash. Oh boy.
So all right, bro. So I'm gonna let you take the hand on here on this for right now.
So, Ash kind of gives Sandile a little mini pep talk and puts him down. And then we see a silhouetted flash, and we can tell that the duckling has left the tree, and it passes by Ash's face. And when we see Ash again, his hat is gone, and Ducklett's got it in his bill, and he flips it up, and it lands on his head backwards, and Ash is like, "It's my hat," and Sandile scared again, so he jumps on Ash's leg, and the um the Ducklet turns around and this one has absolutely no chill and just ice beam, and luckily Ash and Pikachu, and I guess by extension Sandile, were able to jump out the way, because who knows. And Ash is like, well, shit, that was ice beam, and Ducklet just like whack whack whack, and flies away.
No joke. I would love to get a screen grab of this Ducklet wearing Ash's hat and doing Ash's I caught a Pokemon pose at this very moment. Because it was so cute, but he's such an asshole. Like, you don't want to root for him, but it's so fucking funny.
A lot of good Pokemon acting on this episode. So the Ducklet is flying away with Ash's hat, and Ash is carrying Sandile, and Pikachu's running. And then we stop, and we're at a stream, a clearing, and the Ducklet with the hat meets up with the Ducklet with the sunglasses. And they're like, "Hey, you got some cool sunglasses." And the other one's like, "Hey, you got a cool hat." And they high five.
Like a bunch of dicks.
The one with the sunglasses looks back and goes, "Bitch."
And it's at this point that freaking Pikachu, Ash is like, all right, if you're not going to give it back, I'm going to fry you. He's like, I do like me some fried duck. So he's like, Pikachu, Thunderbolt. And in the middle of them high-fiving, these ducklets get fried. And they're just smiling. They're like, oh, that did not feel good, and just falls straight on their face. And Ash is like, all right, let's go get our stuff back. And then comes the third Ducklet that's wearing Silen's plate cap. I'm going to call it a freaking plate cap. And flies in and does what looks like what I want to say steel wing, but the subtitles on this is telling me that it's just a regular wing attack on the subtitles. So, even though it doesn't look that looked like a straight up steel wing, but
I think it was.
And it comes flying in and just whacks Pikachu and Ash and sends them back. So they're just not having a good day at all. And then all three Duckling are standing right next to each other, and they're all smiling. And one has the glasses, one has the hat, and one has Silen's plate cap. And they're like, "Hi, Duck." And then they do the Ash pose, I caught a Pokemon pose again, and they all put their hands up, and they're like, ha 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 ha, and they just start laughing. And Pikachu is just mad at this point. He's like, all right, I've been hit once, I've been hit twice, that's the third time I've been hit. This is not a good night at all. Sorry.
Yeah, and Pikachu's like, I am not going to take any of this, and he's like, y'all three are going down, and the one with the plate cap, now you got me doing it, does his scold attack, so Ash is immediately just red in the face. Then the one with the hat does ice beam, so now he's completely frozen in a block of ice, and all three Duckling do the Ash pose, and they just whack 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 whack, and luckily Sandile is able to use Bite to get Ash out of the block of ice, otherwise the episode's over. And
wouldn't that have killed Ash at that point?
Well, yes, but he's probably died about 20,000 times at this point.
True that.
So So the Ducklett are just the Ducklett trio are just standing there. They're pissing themselves at this point. They're whack, 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 whack. And
You see, I was dreading doing this episode, but this episode is funnier reviewing it now on the podcast than it was watching it.
right. And Ash is like, all right, Pikachu, quit playing around. Thunderbolt one more time. And Pikachu's like, you ain't got to tell me twice. And loads up, and they just fly away. Son of a bitch. So he picks up Sandile, and we see that the Ducklett have flown into a tree. And they're standing there, and they're like, well, what now? And then all of a sudden, just a bunch of just random shit starts getting thrown at them. Table and chairs. They come out holding an
Soccer ball.
umbrella and a soccer ball. And Pikachu's loading up a Thunder Shock or a Thunderbolt, and the umbrella just drops right on his head and closes up. So Pikachu basically catches a
Thunderbolt
Thunderbolt
himself.
to himself, and Ash is like, well, that's not good.
And then we go into who's that Pokemon, and I'm not, because I know you're watching the Japanese version, but my version's a Ducklett. Is it the same in Japanese too?
Didn't get that. We just got it. We'll be right back.
Well, the who's that Pokemon this week is Ducklett, and they were smart enough to keep two the Pokemon of the episode this week. And then we come straight back, and Pikachu is still using his Thunderbolt move, and Ash is like, oh shit. So he runs over to take the umbrella off of Pikachu, but Sandile goes over and just bites the umbrella because he's not affected by electric attacks, and just takes the umbrella away from Ash, who was getting electrocuted, and Sandile just bonks it off, and Pikachu's like, oh shit, that hurt. That really, really hurt. He's like, I'm overexhausted with electricity right now. We've seen that in past episodes that when Pikachu gets too much electricity in its body, it's no good.
The first episode of Black and White, in fact.
Yeah. When they came into town. So
that was like the whole plot point.
So it's at this point the three Ducklett are like, well, that wasn't what we wanted you to do. So they look over at Sandile and was like, thanks for ruining our move. And they all three use Scold Attack. And freaking Sandile's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, that hurts, that hurts, that hurts, that hurts. Because if one's not hitting him, another one's hitting him. If that one stops hitting him, then another one's hitting him. It's like he has like no grip. And Ash is like, Sandile, let's run. Like Sandile's not trying to run already. And Sandile gets out of that water and just dives away. And the three Ducklett are just laughing. And then they do the Ash, I call it a Pokemon pose again. And it's at this point that we get Oshawott, Scraggy, and Axu looking through the grass, looking for these Ducklett. And Iris comes flying in on a vine. I don't know where the hell she got the vine, but she's like, don't take another step. And she just flies right down. And the excitement is all worn down because she just lands her standing and just looks off and is like, don't run off on your own like that, okay? So apparently Silent and Iris let the Pokemon roam around instead of calling them back into the Pokeball, and they almost lost them. Doug?
And Iris is like, what in the world's the matter with you running off without telling anybody? Now we got to go back and find Ash and Pikachu, and all of a sudden here comes Silent down the side of the cliff and says, well, we probably don't need to go all the way back. And Iris is looking up and goes, came from that hole, didn't you? And Iris is like, well, then Pikachu and Ash have to be around here somewhere. That hole is an exit point. Well, all right, so we're kind of on the right trail. And Actually was like, I fucking could have told you that 5 minutes ago. And we come back and we see the Ducklett trio is just messing around with the stuff they've stolen, and they've got like a noisemaker, and they're blowing it in each other's, and they're just having a gay old time. And Ash is like, oh, so this is what they do with the crap they steal. Sandile's like, I'm gonna.
And then Ash is like, "All right, let's go in and get our stuff." And Ash again comes over in the frame and he's like, "We don't want to fight with you guys, really. We just want our stuff back." And the Ducklet look confused for a second, and Sandile's trying to reason with him. And Ash is like, "Those sunglasses mean a lot to Sandile. Uh, it likes wearing them, and I really like my hat." And all three of the Ducklets look at each other and they're like, "Oh, you want it? All right, here you go." So the Ducklet with the damn sunglasses walks over and is like, "All right, I'll give it back to you." And Ash is like, "Oh, thank you." And Sandal is like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And then freaking Ducklet opens his mouth and it's like, "Skull." And it just sends out the scolding water again. And then puts the sunglasses back on like a G. And just laughs. He's like, "Oh my god, these guys are idiots. They really thought I was going to give them back the sunglasses." All right, Doug.
And Ash is like, all right, this is ridiculous. We're gonna finish this, and he calls for Pikachu to use Thunderbolt, and then this is when we see um, Pikachu's attacks are starting to backfire again, and he thinks back to when Pikachu was trapped in the umbrella, and he's like, "Shit, I've seen this movie before." And Sandile's like, "Well, fuck, it's up to me," and he like front of the line, and he's like, I'll take him on. And Ash is like, you're going up against 3 water types. You're completely disadvantaged here. And Sandile's like, you can take your disadvantages and stick them somewhere. And Ash is like, fine. And the Ducklet are just whack, 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 whack. Like I say, they're just pissing themselves. I mean, they're just having a blast. And they take off the stuff they've stolen, and they land in a completely neat pile. The cloche, the hat, and then the sunglasses land on the hat. And they all 3 line up to take on Sandile, and Sandile uses an attack that is identified later in the episode, and I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't use it. Well, I mean, it doesn't say it in the subtitles that I'm on. But then Ducklets come in with a scald attack, and Sandile's about to get beefed in the face, and Pikachu comes in with a nice iron tail to block that scalding water. The Ducklets then fly up and then fly right past Pikachu, and Pikachu's like, "Oh shit." And they all 3 come in with a freaking wing attack, and it's just whack, whack, whack. And this Sandile is just having a bad day. All he wants are his damn sunglasses, and he's just having a horrible day. And Ash is like, "Ganging up is no fair, so stop it." And Pikachu is outraged that Pikachu goes in, and then it's a big scuffle between all 6 of them. So what's up?
Yeah, it's a 6-way classic cartoon like dust brawl where they're like occasionally they all like stick out of the brawl. It's like, hey, you get back here! What are you doing? Knock that out! That's not And then the screen completely fills with sand, and Ash, Pikachu, and Sandile are flung one way. The Ducklets land, and they're like, well, this is fun. And Pikachu is like, supercharged, and he's gearing up to like all his body is completely engulfed in electricity, and you can kind of see in the distance the ducklets are kind of like huddled together, like they're kind of like resigned to their fate. And um, Ash is like, "Well, what is this?" And he lets go this attack, and once again, it's identified later in the episode, but it's a ball of electricity, and it knocks into
It's
the
Electro Ball.
ducklet electro ball, and it takes out the ducklet like they're three bowling pins, and like they're gone. And Ash is like, "Well, what the hell was that?" And Johnny on the spot, Silence like, "It's Electro Ball," and Ash is like, "The Electro Ball." And then this is when we
So so Silence like Electro Ball. And we get Iris. She's like, "Oh, you don't know what Electro Ball is? You're such a kid, Ash." And
nails on a chalkboard every time.
every time. Oh shit, my stuff is circling real quick, so I'm gonna exit that and I'm gonna go right back into the episode. It is gonna play. There you go. And she's like, "What a little kid," and Silence like, "It's great that Pikachu has learned Electro Ball. That means that his experience is going up." And he's like, "Talk about spicy and tasty." Why he always has to bring food into everything.
Hated
it. but
and
Scraggy
walks over to Sandile, and he's like, "I haven't forgotten what we were trying to do," and he rears back to use headbutt, and Oshawott has to be like, "No, you don't want this smoke."
Like real quick. And Ash is then telling Iris and Silent, he's like, "Remember, this is the Sandile from the spa." And they're like, "Oh, he's all the way out here." And then coming flying in from the sky, of course, because they're not done, are the three ducklets. And oh, okay, I'll let you go over it.
Ash is like, "Oh, I guess so. We're not dealing with Team Rocket. These guys can come back." And Iris is like, "I didn't much appreciate when you hit me with Scold earlier." And what did she say? She's like, "I won't forgive you." And Ash is like, "Yeah." And Oshawott's like, "Yeah." And all three of the ducklets are like, "Oh, you like Scold, do you?" So they're like, "Have at it." And they all they're all getting it. And they're dodging, and Oshawott picks up his shell. He's like, I've played this game before. You hit the shell and it's fine. Square in the face.
Yeah, Oshawott just gets pissed. He's like, "God damn it!" He's like, "You hit the damn shell the last time." He throws his shell on the ground. He's like, "Well, I need this." So he runs right back over and grabs it. He shines it up and puts it right back on its body.
He's like, "All right, but I'm still pissed." And the ducklets are flying in place and like whack 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 whack.
And Iris is like, "What's wrong with you guys?" And Silence like, "Such behavior is hard to understand." And Pikachu is just getting aggressive at this point. He's like, I'm gonna nail these ducks now." And Ash is like, "Are you up for it, Pikachu?" And Pikachu's like, "Yeah." And all three ducklets come down. Looks like they're about to use wing attack again. And Ash is like, "Pikachu, Thunderbolt." And Pikachu uses his Thunderbolt and just whack all three ducks, and they just look so happy to be getting Thundershock again. And then they all three go flying off, and they're like, "We're flying off again." And then they fly off. And then this is the time when Sandile can get his hat back. Sandile can get his glasses back. Silent can get the plate cover back, and Ash can get his his hat back.
Yeah, Scraggy goes over and hands Ash his hat, which I thought was pretty sweet. And Scraggy's like, "All right, I understand. I'm Pokemon, you're master. Let's, And Silent's happy to have his play cover back, and Oshawott like, "I got my shell. I'm good." Um, and then they're at the Pokemon Center. Ash, Ash, obviously got Pikachu checked up because of what happened with the umbrella. Even though he seemed to have shaken that off, and he learned Electro Ball, and it was fine. And I thought it was nice of the Pokemon Center. I mean, they probably have like some kind of Hippocratic oath where they can't turn away a Pokemon. I mean, this Sandile's wild.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Ash. It came in basically under the care of Ash because it's basically been clinging to Ash all day, and they're like, it looks like everything's okay, and Ash is like, thank you very much, Nurse Joy, and he's like, oh, so you ran into the Duckletts? Those are a couple of pranksters, aren't they? Ash is like, you don't have any idea what we just went through, and. And he's like, on the plus side, Pikachu learned a new move, and Pikachu's like, fucking A right. And,
yeah. And then Sandile still wants to battle Pikachu because they never got their battle in. And it's at this point that Iris is sitting there. She's like, well, isn't Pikachu at a disadvantage? And she's like, even though it learned Electro Ball, it's still not going to affect Sandile because it's a ground type. And she's like, isn't Pikachu at a disadvantage? And Silent's like, we'll just see. I think Ash is aware of that. And then the battle starts. Doug?
he has a couple more lines about like spicy food and stuff. I was sick of it. And Ash is like, if you're ready to go, we're ready to go. And Sandile's like, and he uses that move again, and this is when once again it's not identified, and Pikachu
Stone Edge.
Stone Edge, there you go. And Pikachu takes it and gets up and uses Quick Attack and knocks Sandile
right off his keister.
And Silent's like, oh, that's smart, using a non-electric move to gain the advantage. And Pikachu goes to use Iron Tail, and Sandile jumps in a hole, and he's looking around, and all of a sudden you see like a shockwave, and then the Sandile just comes out, and Pikachu's like, shit.
Just use Dig on him.
And
then he goes back in again for another dig.
And Pikachu's like, I don't know what to do. I don't have sonar. All of a sudden it starts to shake, and Sandile's like, he throws him, and Pikachu lands on his belly. And Iris is like, well, that worked. You can see that.
So that's 2 times that Pikachu has gotten dug on.
And sucks. Ash is like, you got to get up. And Sandile starts walking over. All of a sudden it stops and it starts to glow. And it's evolving. And it evolved. And this pissed me off. And it shouldn't have.
Why did it piss you off?
The sunglasses grew with him.
Yeah, I just noticed that too. Holy shit, they did grow with him. But Sandile evolved into a Koaruhie, the desert rock Pokemon.
That was a cool name, Koaruhie.
Yep.
So, like you said, Ash gets out Dexter, and we find out that because of its special membrane covering, its eyeballs can sense the warmth of an object. The warmth of objects it can see while it's being surrounded, even in the dark. And so, kind of cool. And I did a little bit of digging essentially just so I remembered the name of this Pokemon because I knew the translation wasn't going to work in my favor with the Japanese version. And this is the middle evolution, and it evolves into a crocodile later. Pokemon evolves, and it Krokorok uses Stone Edge, and this is the first time it's actually identified. Ash tells Pikachu to use Electro Ball, and Iris is like, "Well, that's not going to work." So the Stone Edge and the Electro Ball meet in the middle, and the Electro Ball hits the Stone Edges in just the right way
Since
to redirect them.
Yeah. And when it redirected the Stone Edge, it hit Krokorok, and it sent Krokorok flying out like Team Rocket, just like the Ducklett, even though the Ducklett kind of flew away. But with that, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of pissed me off. Like they were blasting off, and then they're like, we're just gonna fly away. Quack 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 quack. But freaking Krokorok gets hit and just flies away, and that's the end of the episode, because the narrator comes in and he's like, I wonder if we're gonna end up seeing Krokorok again on this adventure. He's like, but for now, their journey to Castelia City will continue. And that was it.
And Silent had a line about, Krokorok becoming like Pikachu's rival, and Ash says, "Oh, the next time we run into him, we'll be ready." And yeah, so I mean, and it pissed me off because catch the damn Pokemon.
Yeah.
You've built up
I don't think it wants to be caught, though.
Well, yeah, and that's fair, but why do I have a feeling that if we keep going down this path, eventually that damn thing's going to get caught?
Yeah. So, I honestly think that they're going to end up catching it, like, probably, because I stay away from trying to watch too many black and white episodes, and I don't think he catches them anytime soon, because I fell asleep with black and white on one day in the background, and it went like 4 episodes before I woke up to turn the TV off, and I don't think Ash had that Krokorok. So, yeah. But all right, what did you think of this week's episode, bro?
I thought it was good. I thought it was funny. Funnier than the episodes have been recently. Kind of like you were saying before we recorded, because you're like, where did we leave off? And I was like, it's episode 20, and like you shot back like, oh shit, I hate this episode.
Because it was just a random, like, just watching it and not reviewing it. Like, of course, we made it a little funnier, but just watching this as a regular filler episode, I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, how the hell can I watch this episode and be okay with this?
Right.
But all right. What would you give it out of 5 stars, bro?
I mean, probably like a 3.
I'm in the same boat as you. I probably would have given it a 2.5, to be honest.
Yeah, but we did have the evolution. We did have a couple battles.
That is true.
There was no Team Rocket. If there was even a sniff of Team Rocket, it might have gotten, a half just on that fact, because Team Rocket is kind of rare in black and white, at least as far as we are right now. So yeah, I would say I would be very comfortable saying a 3.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'd give it a 2.5, maybe a 3, but that's as far as I'll take it. But I have a special for everybody this week. Yes, I'm going to open up a Pokemon pack, but before I do that, I was at Walgreens, the other day. And they're selling.
Band-Aid.
What's up?
Getting a Band-Aid.
My daughter freaking hit me. Walgreens was selling these non-branded Pokemon cards. It says on there it includes 20 cards and one foil card. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna read the back of this real quick. It says this collectible product in this package have been purchased directly from the manufacturer or purchased from the secondary market and repackaged for resale by MJ Holding Company LLC. He says MJ Holding LLC is not affiliated with the individual manufacturers or trading companies contained with this product. All related trademark and logos and trademarks of the representative owners. And then it has their trademark at the bottom. It says they are from Bedford, Illinois. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to open this, and something tells me, because I have a real pack here that I'm going to open, but I'm going to open this on the show. So I want people who are thinking of getting these or have seen these inside of their Walgreens, whether these cards are real or not. Okay? Because something tells me that these cards are fake. And I'm about to find out right now. And again, these were bought from Walgreens, everybody. So Walgreens should not be selling fake Pokemon cards. But let's go ahead and look. All right. So yeah, these cards look a little fishy. So I got a Rhyhorn, I got a Krabby, I got a Zigzagoon, I got a Grossifleur, I got a Silcobra, I got a Colossus, I got a Baltoy, I got a Hitmonchan, I got another Rhyhorn, but it's a different Rhyhorn. I got a Hitmonlee, I got a Silcobra, a Sudowoodo, Mudbray, 2 fire energies, 4 fire energies. I have a trainer card Hop. I have a potion, a justified glove, and then I have a reverse hollow trainer Venusaur Spirit Link. It says your turn does not end if the Pokemon this card is attached to becomes a Mega Venusaur EX. And people are like, don't do it. Don't rip the card. Don't rip it. But I'm going to rip this reverse hollow card because one, I don't have a Mega Venusaur EX and I don't have any intentions of getting one. And two, I'm going to find out because I bought 2 of these.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to rip. I'm gonna do the rip trick, and it's gonna tell me whether this card is fake or not. And if it's not fake, I'm gonna cry. Uh, uh, uh,
Yep.
uh, uh, uh. It's a fake. It is a fake. Oh my gosh. I got duped at Walgreens. I got duped. So, all right, everybody. The Pokemon packs that are 20 cards and 1 foil card, everybody, from Walgreens. If you go to your local Walgreens and you see these, they are not real Pokemon cards. This card is a sticker. And the cards don't even look real. I mean, even though I can't take it back and say I want my money back, I'm just gonna eat it. But
Don't eat it because then you get
but yeah, everybody, cards are not real. So, all right, I do have a real Sword and Shield Brilliant Stars booster pack here. And now, as I'm getting this open, Doug, I want you to think long and hard because I can't get this damn pack. What energy am I going to be looking at?
water.
A water? All right. Well, here we go. Well, first off, this is going to be a Duck pack because I got a fucking white card. Ooh, what is this? Ooh, okay, maybe it's not. I've never seen this card before.
That'll
Okay.
shut you up.
Yeah, I think it's going to. But I mean, I know my last card's not going to be a hollow, but I got a V-Star card.
Ooh.
It's a black card. Okay. I have a Ursula's Premo um I don't even know how to pronounce that word. Premonition? Because it's not promotion. I don't know.
No.
Morgrim, a Trainer Friends in Galar card, a Carablast, a Clefairy, a Cherubi, a Sulk, a Corpish. My reverse hollow is a Marnie's Pride card, and I like it. I do like this card. Attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. Oh, that's that. Ooh! Let's fucking go! I got a Mewtwo card as my rare card. I mean, it's not a hollow, but this is a badass Mewtwo card.
See,
Holy
that'll shut you
shit.
up.
Yeah, it did just shut me up. I got a fucking Mewtwo, dude. And this is a fucking badass. It knows Life Sucker and Cyber. All right. Well, everybody, I guess I shouldn't base it off of what the card is. This week's this week's Pokemon card code, first come first serve, everybody. So the first one listening to the podcast will get the code. Is JYR VYD as in David, B as in boy, J2C 7TR as in Robert. So that is your Pokemon trading card game for Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, or if you're still on the online version, that is your code to put into your game and get a free Pokemon pack, everybody. And side note, I created using my VPN a Canadian account, so I've been playing. I've been playing the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, and I like it. The only thing is there's not enough players playing the game. I think the app on Google Play says it's only been downloaded 5,000 times. And if you think of the realm of people that play Pokemon games, it's not that much. So it's kind of hard right now finding a nice challenge in the game. But outside of that, it's really fun. I'm losing a lot. And when I say I'm losing a lot, I'm losing almost every match that I'm freaking playing. But yeah, these trainers they know what they're doing. But
You gotta find your feet.
I do. The thing is, okay, and I know we're ending the episode. When I don't know how it's gonna be when it's converted over here in the US. But when you convert I had a Pokemon Online trading card game previously, like with the US version, and I had a shit ton of cards. And I had a fucking psychic deck where you could not beat me using my freaking psychic. I had a fire deck and a psychic deck, and they were fucking baller. But when it came down to converting everything over to the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, their new app, it was supposed to convert everything over, but they don't have all of the Pokemon cards in that game yet because it's still in beta form. So as of right now, I've lost like 90% of my cards.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I lost a lot of cards. And right now I can only use certain cards that they have in the game from Sword and Shield. Like they gave me a bunch of like converted points. Like they took the cards that I don't have and converted them into some kind of algorithm points to where I can basically buy a shit ton of cards in the game and not be really missing out. But I miss my old deck. And my deck right now that was in the online game was a really good, and it's still a legal deck. But I can't use that deck over on the live version because they don't operate on certain cards yet. And you cannot reconvert your game back over to the online version. So I'm stuck. And I wish I would have known that prior to converting my thing over, because I would have just created a whole new account. But
Right.
yeah, but it is what it is. Hopefully when it comes over here to the US, it unlocks all of the cards. Right now it's only in Montreal, Canada, I believe it's where it's at right now, and they're beta testing it. So whenever it comes here, I'm ready for it. So. But other than that, Doug, do you have anything else to say to our audience tonight?
I don't believe so.
All right, well, go ahead and say goodbye, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling all of you, I will see you next week with another Pokemon episode, everybody. Have a good night, everyone.